episode 53, boys. We made it, and wow, has this night already been a wild one. We are coming to you guys at 6:57 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday night, and the Bruins have just made a trade that nobody saw coming. Connor, you want to give us the breakdown of what happened? Or you want to... You know what? Let's give it a second. Before we jump into that dirty water, Kevin, give us a number 53.
Oh.
Ooh. Bo Horvat.
X.
Number
53.
53. Because he
I
couldn't
can
handle
give
the
you two other off
Vancouver
the top of my
life.
head.
Give us
that
two
are
others. Give us
still
two others.
number 53s.
Give us two others.
Jeff Skinner
Jeffy, Hefe Skin.
and the formerly acquainted Ghost Bear out in Arizona. He's number 53.
Oh, dirty water time. We had to get right into the dirty water.
That was our quickest intro ever.
I know, we had to get into it. It's just, it's fresh on the mind. I want us to give our really fresh, raw reactions.
It's burning.
Connor, give us the trade.
All right. So there was a three-way deal for the Bruins with the Capitals and the Minnesota Wild, with the centerpieces going to Boston being defenseman Dmitry Orlov, forward Garnet Hathaway, and the rights to Andrei Svetlakov from the Minnesota Wild. The Bruins sent Craig Smith, a 2023 first-round pick, a 2025 second-round pick, and a 2024 third-round pick to the Capitals. And then to the Minnesota Wild, they sent a 2023 fifth-round pick. And then, of course, the reason behind the entire three-way trade is the Capitals retained 50% of Orlov's salary, sent him to Minnesota, where they picked up the extra 25%, and then turned him over to the Bruins. The big takeaways here is that the Bruins offloaded Craig Smith. They spent their first-round pick, which is assumably going to be as close to a second as possible. They added a depth forward with some physical toughness that they needed, and they added some serious depth and talent on the back end, while all the while saving most, or arguably all, of their prospects and keeping about $1.3 million on the books to use by next Friday.
Instant reaction, great trade for me. So one thing that we had talked about, I guess, 20 minutes before the trade happened is we were hearing that really nobody knew what the Bruins were doing because all the insiders were all hearing conflicting reports, different things, the same thing, and none of them knew what was actually going on. So that made me think the Bruins were going to do something off the board, and this definitely was that. I think it drastically helps the Bruins. They got another very, very legit defenseman who's going to step in, and God, they have the best decor in the NHL. Can you guys give me a team with a better decor than the Bruins?
Negative Ghost Rider. Nothing on the top of my head on that one.
Now, after the trade, I don't think it's even close to being
it was
comparable.
tough before.
Right.
You're going to roll out. What are your pairs going to look like? You're going to go, I don't even know, right? We're going to go McAvoy, Orlov, Lindholm, Carlo, Grzelcyk, Forbert.
That's crazy.
I don't care what order. That's unreal. It's so good. And I was just reading a little write-up on Orlov myself from Jay Fresh Hockey, who does a lot of analytics and things like that. And he just said, don't sleep on Orlov offensively or in transition. Really, he is one of the most prolific and effective puck movers out there. You look at his impact scores, the guy, he moves the puck very well. His analytics are off the chart. And that fits in with the rest of the Bruins defensemen, who also have analytics who are off the chart. And then Hathaway. Let's not forget about Hathaway. Guess how many goals Hathaway has this year? Have you guys already went and looked?
9 goals, 7 assists.
Yeah, he has 9 goals, so he's going to be a 13, 14 goal scorer. Hopefully he can add a couple as we go down the stretch. Maybe he gets a little boost and he does even more. He's a Bruins-type player. He's an absolute dog. He's a guy who you hate to play against, and I've never liked. Now I'm going to love him. It's just, Don, I talked a lot of shit about you a few years ago, but I've pretty much stopped. Ever since Hall, I kind of started to stop after Lindholm. I've just stopped, and now it's I'm glad you're our GM, man. That's from me to you.
Yeah, I definitely hear you there. for me, what I look at is a lot of people forget 3 years ago, Dmitry Orlov was the best Capitals defenseman until Carlson had his, breakout year and is kind of not really impressed this year because he really hasn't played after the injury. But Orlov has a lot of talent, offensively and defensively. I would agree that his transition game is pretty good. The one thing that jumps off the page to me when I look at this trade, both of these players love to take the body, and both of them, if you go and search on YouTube right now, I guarantee you're going to find a long list of hit highlights. There won't be any drought in that department, and I think that's what excites me the most, because the Bruins have a lot of big physical players that don't play physically, and sometimes that's kind of frustrating because in the game of hockey, yeah, you don't need to hit people to be an effective hockey player, but my God, there's a lot of opportunities that the Bruins have to take the body and separate the player from the puck, and they choose not to.
Yeah, these are playoff type players. The Bruins are gearing up to make a long run. Do we think they're done? No, not really.
I don't think so.
No,
I
they're
don't
going one
think-
more player.
They don't structure it the way they were if they want to be done. They still have their first round picks in 2024, which obviously we don't want them to get rid of, but they have picks in 2024. They still have top prospects that I don't know that they're sold on. So that helps. If there are guys like I don't think they want to move Lysell, but if the right deal comes up, I think they will. I don't think they want to move Lowry, but if the right deal comes up, I think they will. And those guys could definitely be on the move, as well as Mike Riley, who is an NHL defenseman. So he holds value out there.
Right,
Yeah.
and one
Not
name
much,
you
but-
keep forgetting is Zaboral. You have a guy like Zaboral.
Jakob.
Yeah, so it's tough. Or even Connor Clifton. He's going to find himself out of the top six, but even though he's a great depth defenseman to have, expiring contract, you could see him move if the price is right,
Yeah, obviously people thought he was on the move, right? So there was the misreport by Pagnona that he was on the move. He said Zaboral and Clifton were both on the move with Smith for this trade. So that means obviously there's some people out there thinking that Zaboral and
Smith
Cliffy are definitely being shopped, right? So I think there's a possibility that we see either one of them, both of them moved. I think.
And if you think about that, that should excite the shit out of you as a Bruins fan.
Yeah, man, they're
Because
going
if you think
for
about it, that would instantly give them $3 to $3.5 million, even without factoring Riley in at that point, just with what they have, Clifton and Zaboral. So, that's not chump change. It's a pretty significant player.
No,
Or it could be.
It
Because
is.
here's my thing. What's his name? Gazarkov?
Gavrikov.
Garikov, yeah.
I can't
So your
say.
big thing is they have that deal in place, waiting to move Craig Smith's contract. I mean, I really doubt you're going to go pay a first and a third after just paying what you did. But if they can find it, maybe add players.
I don't.
They're
They're not going after Garikov anymore. That's done.
Yeah, you never know though.
No, they're.
If
they're
the price
definitely
changes, now
Maybe.
that, like, for me, so here's the thing. The Chikrin and the Gavrikov deals were said to be in place from both teams, from the Kings and the Bruins, for the two players.
not. Neither.
And then you had teams like the Flyers, the Predators, the Capitals all start to change the script and make players available like, Orlov and Ekholm, etc. And even Travis Sanheim down in Philadelphia. Like, he's available if somebody wanted him. So I think everything completely changed, and Gavrikov wasn't one of the most sought-after people on the market. It wouldn't shock me if the Blue Jackets are left with nobody to dance with, and they can't even move him for a third-round pick, and they just give him away.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it all goes. It's going to be an interesting few days, and I mean, we'll get into it later. But I think there's more shoes to drop tonight. Even there are
It
things
looks
are
like
just things are cooking now. This is, I guess, the second big move, right? Tarasenko, now this, and I think things are really going to get moving.
In O'Reilly's.
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly, completely forgot about
Horvat.
that.
So it's been a busy trade down.
Yeah,
Even though it's
Horvat
been a
was
little spread out, but that's the thing. They're dropping. Because boys,
Huge names have moved now. Like
What about
these are all
tomorrow?
big names moving.
Tomorrow, a week to the deadline. That's
I know.
It's the hot time.
I know. I think we're going to see more and more stuff kind of coming through here. This puts the Bruins in a freaking great spot, man. I think they're one, and Connor said this before, they're one more impact forward away from being real hard to beat. Obviously, the teams around them are getting better, but the Bruins are better already. So
And
it's
by
like,
impact forward, like, let's clarify, we're not saying that this team needs a top six.
No, they need
winger.
Ivan Barbashev.
They need somebody that they can plug in on that fourth
Babs.
line who's going to play an impactful role, whether that's playing a lot of penalty kill minutes, being great in a face-off, being somebody that they can play on the second power play unit, something along those lines. Because I think the one last space for them to upgrade would be Thomas Nosek.
Yeah, I agree
He
with that.
he just isn't it. Like, he's a great penalty killer, left shot, or left face-off guy, but he's not it. Like, you need a guy like him on your fourth line in the playoffs where that's going to score at least 2 or 3 goals, make an impact. Knows he can't score to save his life, and that's bad. You need something. You need a little bit of offense.
Yeah.
Yep.
You also have to remember that the Bruins, though, like when people are like, oh, like you're going to get Barbashev and put him on your third line or your fourth line and move Frederick around. The third and fourth lines in Boston play way more than regular teams. Like the Bruins roll all 4 lines. There are nights now where Bergeron's playing 15 minutes because that's just the way it goes. If we're winning games, everyone's going to play. And when it comes to the playoffs, having more guns in your arsenal only helps you because guys are going to get hurt. That's inevitable. And you're going to need different mixes. You're going to need different matchups. You're going to need heavier guys. There are some teams you're going to need faster guys. The Bruins are building themselves to have all of it. And we have to remember this time and how good of a year we're having a couple years from now when things aren't as good. But if we made a run for it and we get the win now in Boston, I hate when I say we. If the Bruins can get the win, then I think it's all worth it. Like I think selling some of the future and going forward is 100% worth it this year.
And that's
right
why I
now.
think they're not done.
No, I don't think they're done. I really
Don
don't.
Sweeney has said that he wants to get a second cup for this group. The real question is, do the Bruins think that they need to upgrade on Forbert now? Or do they need to upgrade on either one of Nosek, Foligno, or Frederick?
I don't think it's going to be Foligno.
Or Frederick.
I mean, you could go and get somebody who's a third-line, impactful scoring winger to put there, but...
Frederick has 13 goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think-
Freddie originally was the guy they were going to upgrade, and he's just kept playing better and like playing good 2-way hockey, and I think it makes it tougher and tougher, right? Like I think the three of us are all Freddie fans, but
Yeah,
I
like,
think Frederick can do that in 11 minutes on your fourth line too, though.
Right, that's the thing. Frederick's not afraid to take one for the team and do what it takes.
No.
Hey, you need me to score goals? I'll score goals. Need me to fight? I'll fight. Like, that's the thing I love with this team. They're selfless. You know what I mean? It's like they just want to win.
Yeah, because, like, in my opinion, like, when I say upgrade on Frederick, I'm not even saying that as, like, a push him out of the lineup thing. But Frederick is an upgrade on Nosek. So if you upgrade the third line and push him down, I know that Montgomery is, a fan of him playing higher in the lineup, but everybody gets slotted down in the lineup when you play on a championship team, in my opinion.
Yeah, you think Trent Frederick cares if he's the third line on a team that loses in the second round, or if he's the fourth
Stanley
line
Cup
center,
winner, fourth
Stanley
line?
Cup winner? Dude, no one cares. Like,
Yeah,
everyone
but-
remembers Tyler Seguin as a Stanley Cup winner, right? He played every
didn't
other
start.
game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's you win a cup, you walk forever. Period.
But the thing I do feel with Frederick being on that third line with Hall and Coyle is it opens up his offensive game.
Oh, it
it
does.
makes him better. And it's like, do you sacrifice him going to that fourth line role? And you kind of, you know what I mean?
If
I
you
mean, the
get Ivan
skill's still
Barbashev,
there.
who's scored over 20 goals in the NHL, yeah, you do. And I think Frederick next
Who
year
played
breaks
in the
20 goals.
2019 Cup final.
Like, Frederick could hit 20 goals this year, you know what I mean?
He should
7
get
goals
close.
in, like, 25 games.
He should get close.
Like,
I think he definitely goes over it next year, and I mean I'm very happy with Trent Frederick's progress. I really am. Nothing like, but he'd be the guy to move down to the fourth line, have someone move in there if it's the right fit. If not, then I'm good with Freddie rolling into the playoffs. I think we all are.
Are we overlooking it? Like, could Hathaway be the third line fit? He's played with talented top 6 players before. He's played with Ovechkin. Do you think that they would want to slot him with Coyle and Hall?
Yeah.
No.
It's hard.
No, because he doesn't have as much talent as Freddie.
And the chemistry's just there, like with Hall and
Yeah.
Coyle and Freddie. It's tough.
But Hathaway's not a bad player. Like he's really not. Like
He's a
I'm
smart
excited.
player.
Yeah, smart, physical, super physical. He's a rat fuck, which just adds to a team full of rats. So, this Bruins team is going to be wicked annoying to play against, which I'm happy. Like in the playoffs, mental warfare is important. Physical warfare is important. Skills are important. The Bruins have all of it. And the most important thing in the playoffs is goaltending. We got 2 top 5 goalies. Now that Swayman's playing the way he's been playing, like it's ridiculous. So, yeah, the Bruins may win a Stanley Cup this year. I hate to say it, but I hate to do it. I feel like I'm jinxing myself, but they
You're
look
jinxing
pretty
yourself.
good.
You
I got wood
bastard.
all over me. I'm knocking on the wood.
You rat fuck, you're jinxing us.
You rat fuck. I don't know. It's what he is. He's a little rat fuck. He's like Marchand. I listened to Marshy's interview today, and
With Ian?
yeah, with Ian, and it was interesting. He didn't really. All he said was like the things I say on Twitter are things everyone thinks. He didn't say anything crazy. He did talk about how Cliffy's made like a huge jump this year, so that's where I was like, damn. And they traded him after he got a compliment from a guy he definitely looks up to. That's so tough, but it was interesting. Just Marshy, he said he's still not fully 100%. He's getting there, but he openly said he came back too soon, and he said he did it just because like everyone was talking about how long it was going to take, so he wanted to prove everyone wrong, and he knew he was coming back too soon, and he doesn't expect to be fully going till like right before the playoffs, but he's on track, and he's a point per game player, so he's doing what he needs to do. You guys got anything else, Bruins? I want you guys both to give me one player you think they're still going to go out and get.
I'm going with the Barbashev. I just think the connection between Barbashev and Montgomery, from when Montgomery was the assistant coach in St. Louis last year, when Barbashev had his career, 24, 26 goals, I think they can make that happen. I know the St. Louis did want a second-round pick, and now we don't have a second-round pick till 2026.
No, really?
Yeah, so it's kind of tough. I don't think St. Louis wants to wait on a pick that long. So it'll be interesting, but I do like Barbashev.
I like
you got,
Barbashev. I also had made mention about potential of Luke Shen, but I think I've slowly convinced myself out of it.
Yeah.
Taylor Radish. That's going to be my pick out of Chicago.
I was going to say Chicago. He's a high-skilled forward, right? Was he a first-round pick, Taylor Radish?
I don't recall if he was a first-round pick. I'll try to pull that up real quick. But he was part of the Brandon Hagel trade from Tampa Bay to Chicago last year. And I believe he has like 14 goals so far this season. And I think he's playing a like depth third to fourth line role. He's not playing in their top 6 that I'm aware of. He's got a cap hit of about $750,000. He was a second-round pick by the Lightning, 58 overall in 2016. And just brief history, the first 2 years he had 5 goals and then 6 goals, 53 games and 21 games respectively. And then this year he's played 57 games. He has 14 goals and 11 assists for 25 points. At $750,000.
How many goals?
14
Oh, I like
and
him.
11 assists.
I like him.
And he's
I like
$750,000.
everything he is. Yeah, he played for the Lightning. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's a good one you just came up with, kind of out of left field. Kevin went with Barbashev. I was kind of with Barbashev too. I don't know that I have one better than what you guys just gave.
Connor
I will give
Garland.
us a little background on this. Yeah, you guys laughed at me last time I said that, so I won't say it again. Andrei Svetlikov. I just looked this cat up. So he's a 26-year-old. He's playing for SKA Moscow. And this year in 66 games, he has 11 goals, 16 assists, and 27 points. He is having a career year. He's never had more than 7 goals in his career. Or he had 8 in 2018. But he's a 26-year-old who never signed with Minnesota, I don't think.
Correct.
He just plays out in Russia. I don't know that I'm too hyped about that guy. But another thing to say, this is the
Minnesota
first
had
Russian.
to give something up to
Yeah,
be involved in this
no.
trade, so they
So
just gave away
threw
what
in
they don't care
a pine
about.
cone. One thing my dad just mentioned to me as I'm going back and forth with him, and he's right. This is the first Russian in a bit
Yep.
since
Koklachev.
Coco. Since Coco, that's what we're just talking about it. First Russian since Coco. That's kind of crazy. The Bruins, for some reason, kind of just stay away from Russians. Like really, like if you really think about it, Sergei Samsonov is as far back as I can think and remember a Russian who was like an impact player. Can you think of one other than that?
Koklachev was the last one, and he went back overseas. Same
Yeah.
thing with
Maybe for
Jacob
the
Forsbacka
Czechs.
Carlson.
Yeah, I
Gives
know,
the
and
checks.
I will say like locker room dynamic and politics something we don't talk about politics much, but the Czechs, I don't know that they love the Russians that much right now. That's for sure. When the players went over to play there early in the season, they weren't allowing the Russians to go. So I wonder if that's a little bit of a awkward air, but I think when you're on the same team and hockey's hockey, they put that kind of stuff aside as long as everyone's being humane, I would think, right? It just is kind of like it is a weird time. I don't think the Bruins have to worry about that type of stuff in their locker room, though, because it's just the best locker room in the league.
Yeah, that's
we've
a
heard from
shutdown.
We've talked to enough players now where like we can just, I think, kind of say that like the Bruins locker room is different, so like I don't know if that's really a big fear, but kind of something you have to think about a bit. I don't know if we have much more on the Bruins. Before we get into that, though, we do have a pretty cool announcement. As of right now, we are officially sponsored by DraftKings. So we're pretty excited about this, and I want you guys to be doing all your gambling with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Boston's hometown sportsbook will be live soon, very soon, right here in Massachusetts. Bet local on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home with DraftKings. To celebrate, all new customers will receive up to a $200, that's $200 in bonus bets when you sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook using code Inside the Rink. That's Inside the Rink. Soon you'll be able to bet local on money lines, spreads, props, and more with one of America's top-rated sportsbooks, DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up with code Inside the Rink to get up to $200 in bonus bets to use once mobile sports betting hits Massachusetts. That's code Inside the Rink only on DraftKings Sportsbook. If you or a loved one is experiencing gambling problems, call 800-327-5050 or visit the helpline. Visit helplinema.org to speak with trained specialists free and confidentially 24/7. 21 plus, physically present in MA only. Eligibility restrictions apply, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as free bets. Terms at DraftKings.com/MA. And now back to your regular scheduled programming.
Hey.
And just with that, we're going to hit a little lucky ducky section of the podcast, which is going to be making its triumphant return. I'm going to give you guys, let's give a little bet for this weekend, Kevin. Maybe something a little later in the week, buddy.
I was going to say, the people at the helpline, they're awesome. They're amazing.
You've talked to him?
No.
I was like, you've talked to him? That's
Probably should have, but...
I know.
Kevin's not trying to quit gambling. He's just trying to win more, okay?
Yeah, I crushed it over the last week on golf when just Max Homa. I don't know. He was plus 3,000 to be in first place at the first round. Then I bet it again in the second round, and then
Jake didn't really tell me about that.
No, I had a great weekend on Max Homa. I got something for tomorrow. All right, so we got a little parlay cafe for you for tomorrow. I have the Toronto Maple Leaf on the money line against the Wild and the LA Kings versus the Islanders on the money line. So we're going to go Maple Leafs LA parlay. We're going to call it the Major City Parlay with Toronto and LA because I don't consider the Islanders in a major city. They're kind of like a suburb. I thought Connor would laugh at that, but I guess he's not going to. Okay. Kev, you have something? You consider the Islanders a major city team? When I think major city, I think the New York Rangers. I don't ever think the Islanders.
Yeah, they're the redheaded stepchild that just gets beat with the belt. Oh yeah, for me on Saturday, we're looking at Saturday, February 25th. I'm going Oilers money line over the Blue Jackets, parlayed with the Hurricanes money line against the Ducks.
Nice. That's not bad at all. I will
Like
tell
that.
you, I just plugged in to my app to the Los Angeles Kings versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, gambling's not legal yet in Massachusetts, so I'm not gambling. I just have the DraftKings app downloaded, and I can open it up and see what odds would be. So I have the Los Angeles Kings and the Toronto Maple Leafs parlay would be plus 204. So not a bad bet there at all. Not a bad bet. That kind of wraps it up for the gambling segment here in DraftKings Sportsbook. If you guys are on the YouTube, you can take a look down the bottom and see that all new customers can receive up to a $200 in bonus bets when you sign up for DraftKings with code Inside the Rink. Let's hit a little Salt of the East and talk about the trade we're about to have happen. Connor, I'll let you have it, buddy. What's
Get
about
at
to
it
happen?
again, buddy. What do we got here?
What are we having in the East in a little New York? You're muted. You're muted. That's so sad you pulled a Kevin.
Oh my god, buddy.
Oh my
Get
god,
with
how
it.
embarrassing. Well, it's really weird because after we adjusted all of those settings for the microphones to try and make them sound a little better, I can hear myself whether I'm muted or not. So that really just messed with me. Either way, it sounds like things are going down in New York City once again, and the New York Rangers are about to make another big splash. Earlier this evening, they put out that Kravtsov and Lecision are both going to be sitting for roster management reasons, which seems like it's the new hyped up upgrade to the trade related reasons. So it sounds like they're preparing for a push for Patrick Kane leading up to the deadline. Now, there's a couple different things that I know that I've been kind of tracking this week. It looks like the Rangers won't be able to make this trade, even if they agree to things today with Chicago, with the pieces that are supposedly involved. They wouldn't be able to make this trade until the middle of next week. So nothing would happen prior to this weekend unless they really up the ante and are trading somebody off the roster that's making a little bit more money. But also coming out recently, over the past couple of minutes, Pierre LeBrun also just tweeted that Pat Brisson, Kane's agent, has already come out and said that Patrick Kane has not made any decision up to this point that we're speaking right now. So there's nothing imminent in that department, but the New York Rangers are sitting people out for what looks like another move. Patrick Kane has basically, for all intents and purposes, been begging the Rangers and the media to get him. So I don't know. To me, it looks like we're about to see a Patrick Kane joining a star-studded New York Rangers lineup.
That makes them offensively
That's
such a wagon.
scary as
It
hell.
is. It is. It's scary. Patrick Kane in the Rangers
And the bread man.
stuff. Yeah, no, they'll be back together. They'll be reunited. It's good. They're real good.
But Tarasenko has also wanted to play with Panarin and
too bad,
vice versa.
so sad. Too bad, so sad. Patrick
Yeah.
Kane's back. I mean, well, I don't know. Like, we're gonna have to wait and see kind of if this happens. But I think if they do, it instantly makes them my favorite out of the Metro. I think that puts them over the edge against Carolina. It's something I hate seeing just in the East. I'm like, you stay in the West on the bad team. I've liked you on the bad team. The last time you were on a really good team, you stole a Stanley Cup from me. So I'd rather you're not battling us in the playoffs, right?
Right. And if you're Carolina, you're looking at this and you
God.
see the moves already made, you're hearing, so it's like, they haven't done anything. It's like, will
Yeah,
Carolina be the next big power to crank out a trade and
I
upgrade?
think you could see Carolina take a big swing towards Timo Meyer. I think
Yeah.
you could. I think
E-
you really
e- yeah,
could, 'cause
either
they're gonna get a
Carolina-
little scared here.
Or New Jersey, too.
New Jersey wants him, but New Jersey's not getting nervous to make big swings. The people in New Jersey they're good hockey people. They know this team's not going to go win in the playoffs right now. They know that. So I don't.
Yeah.
And they're not going to go. They're not going to go do anything wild. I really like the program that got running over there in New Jersey. just from top to bottom, like the way that they've scheduled everything out and set up that team, like dude, they're gonna have a stud defenseman coming in next year, Luke Hughes still. Like that team they're gonna be good for a long time. If they get Meyer, it's great. They can pay him, you know what I mean. But I don't know that they're gonna throw together the same deal that a desperate team like Carolina is going to in those moments. But we'll see. Another thing I just read, back to the Bruins a little bit. Don Sweeney is doing his presser right now as we talk, and he said that are there any more moves coming? He said you never know, but they're not going to be aggressive. He said that the Bruins are a battle-tested lineup, and they're just trying to add to that. So they're only looking for guys who are battle-tested guys, Stanley Cup winners like what they just got. So that's interesting that they're not going to be too aggressive, but we can kind of stay. Anything else you guys are hearing in the East?
Let's see, the East. I've heard some rumors that the Tampa Bay Lightning are in on Tanner Jeannot, who was one of the players before this Hathaway deal that I would have loved to see in a Boston uniform. Rumors are out there that Detroit may be a sneaky buyer at the deadline, that they might decide to buy. They have a statistically higher percentage of making the playoffs than the Capitals do. Likewise,
Math ain't mathin' for the Caps.
Yeah, no. They
Obviously,
have like an 11% chance.
And that's what I was talking about.
They just traded Orlov and Hathaway.
And that was a big thing that you said, too. It's like, as long as Ovi was going to be in Washington, they were never going to be sellers.
I think you guys agreed with that, right?
Yeah.
And
that's
they
be a retool on the fly.
It's gonna be. It's what they're doing.
Then they have one defenseman under contract next year. And that's
They
Carl.
do get Craig Smith back. Craig Smith's an upgrade over Hathaway, probably for their situation.
Gone.
He is.
He's gone.
Is what?
He's gone. They're going to trade him.
Right away?
I'd be willing to bet you
think
trade
so?
him by next Friday.
I actually think they might play him and just let him play. And
all of the
help
other
him out a
teams
little
that the Bruins just talked to now
Wow.
just picked up the phone and said, hey, bud,
Hey, Smith.
we see that you just got this guy that we've been talking to them about, and we've offered them this and this.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
that
then they
people
have the
offer
ability
much
to
for
retain.
Smith.
But if you retain on him,
Yeah,
different
I
story.
think Craig Smith's a pretty good player.
he
He
didn't fit with
well
what
with
the Bruins
system.
already had.
Yeah, that was the issue there. I wish nothing but the best for Smith, honestly, as we just round it all back to Bruins talk. You guys have anything for the West?
Always. Let's hit it out.
Wild, Wild West. We're here again. What are you guys hearing out West?
Well, we still have Luke Shen. We never know where
Luke
he can
Shen being held out for trade-related purposes. Jacob Chikrin.
Oh, Chikrin!
held out for trade-related purposes, which seems
guy.
like it's the game right now of having 5 chairs sitting on the ice, having 7 people run around, you stop the music, and everybody has to pick a seat. Well, guess what? There's not a lot of seats left for Jacob Chikrin at this point.
Nope, there's not. I think he ends up in LA. Now, I
think he's not going anywhere.
So that's the other thing. He's either going to LA or he's not moving, I think. Because
And
Bill
we'll revisit again.
It's bad. So I'm a big Bill Armstrong fan. He wants a ton because he's trying to get this organization where he needs it to be. And he's slowly getting there. They're better than they were last year. They still have a great chance at Connor Bedard. He is dragging this team along. The issue is the relationship with Chikrin has to be splintered at this point. He doesn't want to be there. They're clearly shopping him. They're shopping him like a Black Friday 50-inch TV. Like he's for sale everywhere. Everyone knows he's for sale. But it's do they want to spend the money? And that I just don't know. I don't know that anyone's going to pay that price that they want. It was reported, which I don't know if this was bullshit or not. A first, a second, Jake DeBrusk or Jeremy Swayman. It's like, no. And Lizelle. It's like, probably not doing that, bud.
This last week, it came in that the most recent ask is 2 first-round equivalents. But it needs to be significant, like first-round equivalents. And one of the asks that was confirmed by some of the insiders in the NHL was, yes, the Bruins were being asked for Jeremy Swayman in the 2023 first-round pick. That was way, way earlier this year. And the Bruins scoffed and said no thank you, which I think they were right to do. Jeremy Swayman is worth 2 first-round picks, in my opinion, if you can get a goaltender that steady.
And at that age.
Yeah,
yes.
Maybe two and a second. Two first and a second. Like, no way.
I mean, there's a lot of things going around, but I know one of the LA packages that had been floated out there that they offered was Turcotte and a first-round pick. And that's kind of where they ended things, and they backed away.
How are they saying, like, in what world is Arizona looking at Turcotte and a first and being like, no? It's like, what are you doing?
For a guy that doesn't want to be there.
He's not going to stay.
Because he's on a dirt cheap deal.
Yeah,
and he's really freaking good, and he's signed for more term.
Yeah, I know, but like, if that's what they're getting,
Arizona is asking for a third first-round asset if they retain 50%, and you would get Jacob Chychrun for the most ridiculous sum of money ever. You can get him for almost $2 million a year.
That's nuts.
For the next 2 seasons past this.
3 first. I guess first-round equivalents, you can give prospects too. But it just, I mean, Chychrun's worth it. He's a great player.
When he's healthy, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I saw a thing. He's had both knees done, shoulder surgery, and the list goes on. And he's what, 24?
Yep, 25,
oh,
I think.
buddy, yeah, wrist surgery was on that list, too. It's
What's really wild to me, and
scary.
this is like
that's
not
scary.
trade-related at all, but this guy was supposed to be the next captain of the Coyotes.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they framed Jacob Chychrun.
Oh,
3 years ago.
Biz was talking. Remember early days of Chicklets? Biz was just nonstop talking about him. Like, he is a great dude. He's a leader. He's a nail gun. All this stuff about him. And then it all slowly just stopped.
It's the Arizona effect.
It is.
Arizona's a dumpster organization.
I also want to talk about
it's not going to
something.
change until they get the new arena.
Oh, you see, he's got Shea Weber.
Yeah, they did. Yesterday on my way home from work, I called my dad, and we were kind of going back and forth. And I had mentioned, I don't even remember at what point in our conversation, because we were just running through everyone we think could be going where. And I talked about how the one thing with Chychrun is he's very good, but we thought that Oliver Ekman-Larsson was very, very good too. And when he got out of there, it proved that he wasn't all that good.
OEL went from a shit show to a shit show on fire.
That is fair. But
like, if you could imagine somewhere worse than Arizona, it's Vancouver.
I know. Chychrun is better than him. At the same time, I don't know. I'd like to see him play in a playoff game, play in a tough situation when you're going to give up 3 first-round equivalents. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I'm almost happy the Bruins kind of said, all right, we got McAvoy, we got Lindholm. We don't need another number 1. Let's just move forward with it. Solid number 2.5, solid number 3 type guy.
So my big thing in the West I want to talk about, nothing to do with trades. It's the standings. The West is insane right now.
Let me bring him up.
It's crazy. So if you look at it,
I got him up.
Yeah. So let's start in the Central. You have Dallas at 72 points, Winnipeg at 71, Colorado 67, Minnesota 67.
Yep.
Right there.
Oh, shit, huh? This is way more intense than I'm realizing.
Dude, Pacific's even worse.
73, 71, 70, 70, and 65.
And that's Vegas, LA, Seattle, Edmonton, Calgary.
So one of Edmonton, Calgary, Colorado, or Minnesota are going to be a very good team who doesn't make the playoffs.
Or Seattle.
Seattle's 100%.
Seattle's tied with Edmonton.
Or LA. Like, honestly.
Or LA.
Or the
Or Vegas.
Dude, fuck it. Any one of these teams. The Stars are slumping like crazy. The Stars, the Jets, any one of these teams could not make the playoffs. That's wild.
Yeah, right in first in division for majority of the season to the non-playoff team. Only if you have one bad stretch. That's what's coming down. You're at the point where you have, 24, 25 games left. You go on a 5-game losing streak, everything could be over.
No, I know. I think week by week we're going to have to give our updates on who is going to make the playoffs. Even in the East, though, dude, like the Atlantic, the Bruins are in the playoffs, the Hurricanes are in the playoffs, the Devils are in the playoffs, and the Leafs are in the playoffs. Other than that, though,
I mean, Tampa's in the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess it's less, but the So
They have 11
the
points.
Panthers,
The top
the
three
Red
in the
Wings,
Atlantic
the
are toast.
Sabres.
They're done.
Yeah, the Panthers, Red Wings, Sabres, and the Islanders are really all battling it out. I actually don't. The Penguins, no, the Penguins. Math,
Look at it
maths.
filtered by points
I
percentage.
know. That's what
Because
the
it
Penguins
changes.
math is. The
But yeah,
Penguins could
look,
get in.
Islanders
I just
have
said math.
yeah.
That's fun.
Islanders have played 61 games
Yeah.
compared to Pittsburgh, Detroit played 56.
No, I agree.
Buffalo's only played 55 games.
I know. No, I know.
That's
Buffalo.
6 games in hand. You're behind 7 points.
Buffalo is going to end up in 4th place in the Atlantic. They're going to.
They're so weird. They can't win at home, though. That's their
Since
problem.
we're looking at the standings and all these funny stats, do you want to look at another hilarious stat?
Sure.
Our friends over at the Late Arrivals podcast may get a kick out of this. But the Anaheim Ducks goal differential is a -101.
Yeah, 1-on-1.
That's absurd.
The Bruins goal differential is positive 92. I will say one thing. If this was golf, the Ducks would be winning the Masters.
Yep, they would be
10 times
slaughtering the competition.
They would be like Tiger Woods just throwing tampons at everyone on the course.
At the end of the year, what do you think is more absurd? How negative the Ducks differential will be, or how positive the Bruins differential would be?
How positive the Bruins. It's way harder to be good than it is to blow.
Right.
Well, no. But what I mean is, like,
How bad they blew?
will the Ducks get to -120, or, like, will the Bruins get to +125? Like, which one will be farther in the direction?
The Ducks.
Oh, the Ducks.
You think so?
Because, hockey tightens up as the year goes on. The Ducks just...
But it
Bruins
looks
get
like
beat
the
by
Ducks
more.
aren't going to be trading anybody. Everybody who they
Gives
thought
us a
was
black
going to
hole.
be on the market, there's no market for.
It's so weird. I just don't
Henrique was a center depth option. He hit the IR today.
I know.
John Klingberg, there's nobody who wants him. He sucked this year, and he has a $6 to $7 million deal.
The funniest thing here in all this is just, like, the Ducks desperately, like... I worry so much about guys like Zegras and McTavish and Terry and Drysdale being in this environment that
And
they
Bedard.
might turn into, like... when Bedard gets there, he turn it around, luckily, if they can get him. But, like, they might be in this environment where all they learn how to do is lose at the NHL, and it becomes so perpetual and so bad that you end up having to trade all those stars away before you can get good, i.e. Jack Eichel, those type of situations, i.e. Taylor Hall, those guys who just go through these, like, career losing it with the teams that draft them high, and then they have to go somewhere else to be able to figure it out. I wonder. I definitely wonder.
Dude, that would be the craziest thing. It's like you've waited all this time just to blow it up.
Yeah, I don't know that they will, though. They still have a couple of years to turn it around before they have to do that. That's for sure. They have some good... I think that Zellweger guy who played for Canada, I know I just butchered his name, Owen Zellweger.
Zellweger, something like that.
He is
It looks like Renee Zellweger's last name, so
he
we'll
is
ride
fucking
with it.
Good, and he's gonna be he's a Duck. So like the Ducks have some upside coming, but I mean we'll see. They blow
nice.
right now. Yeah, for sure. Do you guys have anything else?
No, I think it's going to be
Sorry.
about that time for Kevin and I to buckle in and get ready for this trade deadline on the writing side of things here for the website.
Yeah. Articles are going to be pumping out. We're going to be coming up with rumor mills. Anything we hear, we'll tweet out. Even things we half hear, we'll probably tweet out. So let's keep it rolling. And happy Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What day is it? Thursday.
Thursday.
Everyone have a great
Happy
weekend.
trade deadline season! Woo!